As I was talking to my friend David Baroni a while back, he started down a path, and as he was talking, I'm kind of thinking, oh boy, this would really stretch some people. But as I watched the video afterwards, I thought, you know what? I think that's okay. I've never been one to shy away from somebody not liking something that I've said, or being kind of, felt pushed by it, if you will. And so I'm going to show you what he shared. He talked about spontaneous songs, what he referred to as prophetic songs, and the impact it's had on him. So I'm going to let him share. I'm going to come in and tell you some more after his portion is done. So take a listen.
God's people, the church, we are called to represent Jesus to a needy and watching world. So the Revelation says the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. His story, history, his story through, through God's people. And so prophetic is not so much about foretelling as it is showing forth the virtues of God, the life of God. And again, that could sound very arrogant if we thought we could do that in our own strength. Well, that's why we've been given the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit, one of his callings is to magnify Jesus, is to lift up Jesus. By the way, a song doesn't have to be spontaneous to be prophetic. It could be Amazing Grace, and that could be a prophetic song for a moment that really emphasizes something that's on God's heart. That's probably the bottom line. What's on God's heart, and how can we help to display that? But back to the spontaneous song, I had an experience in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada years ago. And I had read a couple of books by a guy who became my friend, Lamar Boschman. The Prophetic Song was one of them, and The Rebirth of Music was another. And he just talked about the scriptural basis for the use of music. And in one of those books, he said there's three types of singing: songs about God, songs to God, and there's a third category, God singing. Zephaniah 3:17, for the Lord your God in the midst of you is mighty to save. He'll rest in his love. He'll rejoice over you with singing. Some translations say shouts of joy, others say singing. God is a singer. And so I've had an experience after reading those books in Canada where I sat down at an empty church building. I didn't try to do this. It just happened. It just happened. And I had a Radio Shack tape recorder, cassette recorder, and pushed record, and I sat down and started playing. For the next 40 minutes or so, I began to play and sing songs I had never heard before, never sung before, that didn't exist in this realm as far as I know before that time. And part of it started very honestly. I'm so weary of words without life and power. I'm weary of doing my will in your name. So I come before your throne this hour, Lord, that I might be changed, that I might be changed. Halfway through that encounter, I heard the Lord begin to sing to me. And I didn't have to wait on the words, it just flowed. So you think you've seen my glory. You think you've seen my power. You haven't seen. See what I'm about to do this hour. Take all my vessels of clay, breathe my life upon them. Place my spirit in them, taking them out of their own ways while they stand before me. Hear my orders, feel my heart. They don't worry about what people say. They're dead to this world and the approval of men. They have only one desire, it's to glorify me. Will you be one of them, my child? I ask you today, join me. And it went on. There's another couple of minutes of that. And I didn't realize what had happened until a month later. I happened to find this cassette. I hadn't listened to it. And I was driving down the road, and I started to hear the Lord speak to me through my voice on this tape. I've never been the same since that time. I don't always walk in the fullness of it, the power of it, but I've been transformed since that time in 1990 or 91. But those times when the Lord does begin to sing spontaneously through his people, it's powerful.
Like I said, I'm guessing that probably stretched some people here today. But again, I'm okay with that. But I want to kind of add to what David said. You might remember a couple of videos that I did a while back with my friend Carly Reagans. I had the opportunity to mentor Carly when she was a lot younger. And one of the things that I recognized early on was that she seemed to have this this ability to just kind of start singing and capture the moment of what God was doing right then and there in the service. And but she was afraid of it. She was a little bit hesitant about that, and so I wanted to get her more comfortable in that gift. So I encouraged her 3 times a week, if I remember correctly, something like that, 3 times a week, to go into our sanctuary for about an hour at a time, and just sing and play. Not anything that she's ever sung before, just to play a chord progression, whatever. Maybe have her Bible open, maybe some Psalms or something like that, and just sing, kind of ad lib off of what's there, and just sing spontaneously. Well, after she did that for a while, 3 times a week for several weeks, the songs in our services just started coming like crazy. And again, she was just capturing the moment. Maybe it was right after a sermon, and she'd capture what God just said in that message to us, or maybe it was during the time of worship, and God was moving in a special way and something going on there, whatever it might be. Powerful, powerful. But it got her to the place, having done that 3 times a week for an hour, just playing and singing spontaneously, it got her to the place where she was much more comfortable with that gift. Practical idea. I'm not saying you necessarily have that, but you might want to try something like that and just see where it leads, because God could use you in that kind of a role. This is simply a gift that God gives to His church to help us to go deeper in our relationship with Him because of what He's doing right there in that moment.
Brought to you by MyWorshipLeadingCoach.com.
Helping you to be more fully equipped as a worship leader.